Video in and on. Check one, check two. Coming through. Um, it's a misty, foggy, early morning in the north of Scotland. Another day, another opportunity. Wherever you are out there, I hope you're well. I hope you're ready. I hope your brain is in gear for more insight and information. How are you out there? How is it going? Is it going okay? Are you enjoying the insanity of when we live on this side of the border, we have to follow these rules, and when we live on that side of the border, these rules don't matter at all? Are you enjoying the insanity of daily reality, the misinformation and the misdirection? Yes, the misdirection. Yeah, they're talking about building a new wall between Scotland and England. They're talking about putting security forces on the border to send back those nasty people. It's all ridiculous. It's all an authoritarian grasp for more power. But that's what the people want, right? That's what the people want. They want strong leadership. You know, it's not strong when you disempower people. It's not strong when you remove their livelihood and opportunity. That's not strength. That's not great in any sense of the word. And it's funny how it works out because it's a woman, you can't criticize her because, oh my god, you just don't like women. I mean, that is just the least intelligent response in human history. So, I'm not happy with the general situation, but I'm not going to let that stop me because, first of all, I have a right to disagree. And secondly, life moves on. You can't get hung up on the coat pegs of the past. You've got to push forward. There's no other way. Just wait. Just wait until we have a black female lesbian leader. And it will be because we're so open and so liberty orientated that we can accept this. Now, if you've got a good idea, it's a good idea. I don't care who you are, where you are, what your politics is, unless you're making your politics my politics. In which case I begin to care. I begin to care when your policies, your policing, becomes my policing. I'm not down with that. Because your force is your failure. Your inability to persuade is your problem. Don't make it mine. Having space for individual approaches is what keeps liberty alive. Having a knowledgeable populace, having media that presents the truth. What is the truth? The truth is a balance of both sides that allows people to decide. It's not an attempt to persuade. Think about it like this. If you're watching the video, in my hand I have a phone. I have my mobile phone. You can see in my hand I have a mobile phone. Boom. Reality check. It's there. You can see it. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to discuss it now that I've mentioned it. It's obvious. Now consider the situation where I hold up nothing, but I tell you, I have a phone in my hand. No, but really, I have a phone in my hand. Hey, don't I have a phone in my hand? Yep, it's absolutely true. I have a phone in my hand. Let's talk to some people about this magical phone that I have in my hand. Let's bring on some experts to discuss this magical phone that I have in my hand. Let's have a deep philosophical discussion. Let's study the history of this. And you see, when something doesn't exist, it requires that you be constantly persuaded that it does. And this consistent persuasion is mind control. This consistent hammering that, how many fingers am I holding up, Winston? And then think about your world. Think about what you are trying to, well, it's not you. Think about what you are being persuaded. It's passive, right? It's happening to you. Think about what people are trying to persuade you. What are they trying to persuade you? What are they trying to present you evidence of? And what do they know about it? And why are they doing it? Have you asked yourself? You think this is a new strategy? You think this is a new philosophy? You think this is a new way of doing things? Do you think this hasn't been done across the boards of history forever and ever? If people are going to market products that they want to sell you, if people are going to put out advertising and it works, you think they're not going to use the same strategies in terms of cultural development, psychology, manipulation of ethics, the replacement of moral culture with ethical society? You think you're not under the influence? You think you have to put everything into the right context. Because without the right context, nothing really means anything. Do you understand yet? I hope you understand. There's so much going on. Way too much. But let's see if we can parse through some of what is happening in the world right now. And there's definitely a dash by the powers that be to end cash as a currency. We see it now in the left corner. We've got the practicality of carrying a credit card rather than a wallet full of coins, right? It certainly is practical. And of course, the card is now integrated, or can be integrated into your phone. We can't do the phone into the card yet, but we can do the card into the phone. Fair enough, right? You don't have to carry a camera around with you now because your camera's in your phone. Certainly practical. I always said there's only 3 things you need if you step out of your house, with a reasonable excuse, of course. You need your passport, you need your wallet, and you need your phone. Wow, here's a realization, right? Because your wallet is essentially being replaced with the credit card. Now, the problem with the credit card is it's going to make some levels of human interaction actually impossible. And if you think about like the market situations where you go to the market and you barter for something, which is excuse me, it's part of human history, right? You would go to the market and you would haggle and talk about the price, and you would maybe be able to get a better price. Now, you can't do that in your general stores, right? Think about the classic British traditions. The car boot sale, for example, where you go there and people have got their old stuff that they don't need, don't want anymore. And, you know, one person's junk is another person's treasure. And so, and people who, you know, keep stuff in relatively good condition, why not pass it on to other people? And it's a bit of fun as well. And in America, they have the garage sales. Goddamn Americans with their garage sales. Putting everything out on the lawn, making a goddamn mess. You have your garage and you just fill it up with junk, right? Hey, every now and then you can find something of value. It's like a little treasure hunt. I've taken my kids out to these things. It's fun. It's fun. It's also really interesting to, you know, psychologically see what other people have picked up, see what other people have bought, see what it is that other people value. And there's a lot of strange stuff like that people buy weird things, especially in the concept of. I'm pretty sure a lot of these things are from like birthdays or Christmases or something, where the people have felt forced to buy gifts for other people, and they've just bought cheap rubbish from the pound shop or the dollar store or the gift shop. There's nothing more useless than a gift shop, right? Just browsing checking down the beach there. Someone jogging down the beach. Good time to go jogging down the beach. Early morning, nice. Kind of going to be fresh, crisp, cold air down there today. It's going to be nice. So it's going to make some human interactions far more complicated. You can't just pass stuff off to your friend and go, "Hey, just give me a tenner," and you know it's going to be gone. I guess you can still transfer from account to account, but then everything is tracked and traced, right? And then the excuse is, well, it's going to defeat corruption. It's going to stop the criminals. Criminality is a part of human mentality. The criminals will always find a way. You'll change the system, and then the people will adapt to find a new way to circumnavigate everything. Right? Why not have more than one system? Absolutely. Yeah. So everything's going to end up in your phone, right? I mean, even your passport is going to become a digital document, the way things are going. And you can see that now with certificates and licenses, where when people make applications, they just scan the document with your phone and send it to us, or take a picture of that page of your passport, which I had to do recently. Which makes you wonder about security, right? Because do you think that anything connected to the internet is secure? Really? Really? Are you that dumb? Well, no, it's encrypted. And really? Really? Right? What is this with opening other people's mail? Right? We've analyzed your post and discovered it. We believe it contains some inaccuracies. They call it fact checking, right? Who checks the checkers, right? Checkers, right? Checkers, think about it. Checkers, think about it. Who checks the checkers? So, yeah, and they're we've checked your post, and we believe that some of the information is inaccurate, and I've checked the checkers and found them to be wrong just as much as right. And to be honest, I don't think it's helpful to inform people that in that way that they've made a mistake, because there's obviously some agenda at play. Somebody somewhere has decided what is true and what is false. You got to decide for yourself what is true and what is false. I mean, that is the foundation of thinking, of progress, of cognitive development, right? That's it. So let's read a little bit from this article. A lawsuit was initiated in 2015 for the right to pay fees to public broadcasters in cash. This was in I can't remember which European country, but people are fighting for your rights. Did you even know that? Are you even aware? Do you even know what your rights are? Do you understand? Do you know what's going on behind the scenes? Do you? So a lawsuit was initiated in 2015 for the right to pay fees in cash to public broadcasters. The law is now in the European Courts of Justice. The date for the oral hearing is the 15th of June 2020. Starting in around 2005, the war on cash, as they were calling it, was declared a business strategy of Visa and MasterCard to push back against the use of evil cash, it's dirty cash, right? People have touched it. It might contain diseases or viruses, or people touch everything. It's unavoidable. Everything is being touched by somebody, right? They see it as the main competitor for their credit cards. Credit. They'll be able to edit it. Chook, a little button, and everything becomes nothing. I'm sorry. We are unable to issue any credit for you at this point in time. Thank you for calling. This is the automated voice service of the Friendly Bank. From about 2011, well, let's just move on. Visa and MasterCard obviously have an agenda, right? PayPal has an interesting history as well. Actually, have you ever wondered how those things work? I think Elon Musk was responsible for PayPal originally. I got to check the history on that. So what happened was Visa and MasterCard entered a coalition with the US government. But not just the government, also the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Sound familiar? And Citibank. They formed Better Than Cash Alliance to pursue the elimination of cash. But now they do it under the pretend goal of helping the poor. Yeah, tyranny always comes in the guise of help, right? They do it under the pretend goal of helping the poor financially, including themselves. There are very academic institutes, standard-setting institutions and governments that have been enlisted in this fight against cash, either with money from the Gates Foundation or from the Better Than Cash Alliance with the diplomatic muscle of the US government. The interest of the financial sector in selling their own products instead of cash is obvious. The IT companies want the data that goes with the digitalization of cash, and the US government wants the surveillance and sanctioning power that goes with the digitalization of payments. The other countries that cooperate also like the aspect of gaining more surveillance power over the populations. Keep your cash if you want to remain free, but be practical. Be practical about everything. You know, the horse became the car. Wasn't such a bad thing, right? Definitely wasn't such a bad thing. So, here we go. Anyway, that was from SputnikNews.com. Moving on. Freestyle thoughts. I pilfered this from David Gordon. Thank you very much, sir. Freestyle thoughts in the Whole Foods line. A lot of things going through people's heads as they're standing in line waiting to get in the shops. Just like people used to do in East Germany. They now do everywhere. Just like people used to do in Russia. They now do everywhere. It's training. It's the new normal. No physical contact, please. Right. All these people that have been persuaded to wear masks and gloves, you guys are going to get sick. Not kidding. All those respiratory diseases caused by not being able to expel what you need to expel from your body. Breathing back in the same dirty air that your body has tried to get rid of. All those diseases that you're going to get around your face because it's not natural to have the mask on. Just you wait. Just you wait, Henry Higgins, just you wait. Oh yes, my fair lady. You see, freestyle thoughts from the Whole Foods line. You see, when someone has a battle plan and is coming for you, they are well camouflaged, much like an aberration. It's very hard to decipher and make out because they have secrecy or great cover and concealment. Different biotech companies get acquired or merged. The lobbyists tie down the necessity of science or whatever said position with the humanitarian need addendum, the public good, health and safety. We're here to protect and serve. Now that the primer is in place, all you need to do is pull the trigger and set off an event that culminates in enacting laws and setting up a criteria that feeds this new machine. The end game is a return to bondage by those in power being over those who are powerless. You shouldn't have to see yourself in chains. You shouldn't have to see yourself in chains, in shackles, in bonds, in cuffs, right? Funny how they market bondage as being cool, right? Subject yourself. to the authority. Right. The only power that you need to develop and understand is your own. Feed yourself. Right. Oh no, that's selfish. Well, no, you kind of, to a certain extent, have to take care of yourself first. It just makes common sense, right? Oh, but what about the needs of the community? My argument is the individual matters more. It comes down to that concept where you've got like a football team, but one player will make the difference. You still have to play as a team. You still have to play by the rules. You still have to listen to the manager and the coach. You know, you still need a physio to keep you mobile, moving. You should never see yourself in chains. But then most people don't know that they're already shackled. Most people don't understand the modern forms of indentured servitude. Thank you, David, for that. The next comment comes from Nigel, who he's been fighting a good fight for years and years. As usual, I love to say that I disagree with some of his opinions, but I don't think he's wrong. Isn't that interesting, right? He can say something, I can disagree with it, but I don't think that his opinion is wrong. Is it that's called being intelligent, right? Because his opinion is going to come from his experience. It's going to be colored by what he's seen, where he's been, what he's read, etc., etc. Nigel writes, the irony, the madness of this crazy, crazy world. The social elite dominate and control and exploit masses of people for their own ends, wealth and power. Now, to a certain extent they do, but to a certain extent society needs leaders. Those who are more able to provide services, those who are able to help more people should get more benefits, right? I mean, that's the cream should rise to the top. The better players in the team should be paid more, right? The actors who bring their greater art to people, why not see them reimbursed at a higher level in a different scale? Anyway, it's called free society. They cause, and Nigel's talking about elites, the light people, the light bringers at the top. Yeah. Very often they cause suffering globally. They create wars to make profit, expand their territories and power, and that's one of the problems, right? You've got when government feeds into government, it just grows, and then what, right? And then what? Yeah. Government essentially does just one thing in the long term. It creates conflict, and eventually you have two countries side by side, greedy for power and more authority, and the end of that is inevitable, right? They're gonna want. I want more, yeah. Yeah, people don't read the Bible anymore. Look at what happened in history. You think what's happening now is new? You think the famines are new? You think the pestilence is new? You think the plagues are new? And yet, on a day-to-day basis, the elites have us attacking each other in ignorance of their game. Yeah, I mean, get your enemies to attack each other and you don't have to do anything, right? The ridiculous false morality that they engender, which they do to a certain extent, as we deride and attack each other for going out for too long, being with friends or loved ones when the authorities have ordered that we may not. I'm suspicious that they've got some. I mean, how has it not clicked? Click. There we go. How has it not clicked in people's heads that the idea that the neighbor could call the police right now because you have friends in your home is not fascism? I mean, how did we get to the point where we didn't realize that? Yeah. And it's your home. It's your home and it's your friends. Right? It's your home and it's your friends. Isn't that crazy? That somebody else has power over you. Power over you, right? It's not real power though. It's projected power. They have absorbed the state. They've had it injected into their bloodstream. It courses through their veins. Huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because the authority is right. The authority has ordered us to do this and not do that, even though it's insane. Walk on this side, not that side. Don't go out for too long, but cycle a bicycle as much as you like. Right? Just keep moving. Don't stop and think. You might see something. Oh yeah. And don't have an opinion that goes against the programming. Because if you, it's a different opinion. Oh my gosh, different opinion. As Nigel points out, went a bit off script there, but as Nigel points out, we are truly, truly, truly a mad race. There was a video posted recently at uknip.co.uk. I don't know who this organization is, but they've been cop watching. Dun, dun, dun. It's good to watch the watchers. You can learn quite a lot from that. It's good to watch what's going on. It's good to know what people are planning for you. It's good to know what's coming down the pipeline. It's good to be prepared. It's good to be ready. What are the lyrics of that Metallica song? To secure peace is to prepare for war. This is not a new statement. Understandable though. Just look at the period between World War I and World War II. Just enough time to bring up your babies to be ready for the slaughter. Yep. Oh, yep. Yep. But you've still got a choice. It might be life or death, but you've still got a choice, folks. Ethics committees, people. What are they doing? Ladies and gentlemen, vaccine trials. Vaccine trials. They're just bypassing testing everything on animals. There's a happy smiling doctor with a needle in his hand. Isn't that great? Dailymail.co.uk reports infecting Britons may be the only way to test a COVID-19 cure. They're going to infect people with the disease. Stay at home because you might infect people with the disease, but we, the government, are going to infect people with the disease anyway. Right, anyone who thinks that this is not insane, is there anyone? 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 Somebody somewhere is just sitting laughing at the general populace, realizing how easily they are swayed. Like this whole lockdown situation is a giant scientific test to see how stupid we are, and we are stupid. So trial testing of vaccine on volunteers. So you first, mate. You, you first, you know. Not sure about this guillotine thing. Why don't you go give it a try? Cure your headache. The controversial move of vaccine trials would not be without risk, it is reported, and whether ethic committees will even permit it would pose the biggest challenge. No, the biggest challenge would be whether the vaccine actually works, not whether, because scientists could be persuaded of anything. It's for the greater good, right? Really, really. But scientists have previously said such an approach could shave months off the race to find a vaccine. Shave. Interesting. With almost 3.6 million cases now confirmed globally, even though they can't isolate the virus. And if you study the statistics, as the traditional flu goes down, the COVID goes up. That's interesting. Normally in large-scale trials, participants will be given the vaccine and mingle among society to see if the jab is effective at preventing them picking up the virus. In this case, SARS, but we're not allowed to mingle, so how can it even work? And you know what? I'll tell you what else they did. Right? I'm not sure if we'll get to this today, but it's still important that you're supposed to sort of test the new vaccine against something which is some kind of placebo. And what was it? They were testing zinc and hydroxychloroquine, and they should test it against like some kind of placebo, and they were testing it against vitamin C, which was obviously going to work better. It's all fixed. It's all fixed. And they have been testing the one of the new COVID vaccines and comparing it against the meningitis vaccine. So they're comparing one vaccine to another vaccine, neither of which really work. But one's going to work better than the other, and in the comparative study we discovered, yada yada yada. We the great persuaders can convince you of anything and everything. Anyway, lockdown will make it difficult to assess how successful a vaccine is. But yes, you've cornered yourself, haven't you? By preventing the spread of the virus, a fear already expressed by Oxford University researchers who are leading the vaccine trial in Britain. Yes, well, right. I mean, it's just that the public are like tennis balls, just getting knocked around right now. How mad is that, right? Are you happy? Are you happy yet? Is it working out for you? Is it working out for you? Lawgazette.co.uk published an article that a think tank warns of mission creep in Coronavirus Act. Prolonged exposure to draconian regulations will normalize illiberalism. Great word, illiberalism. Yeah. And the whole point is to normalize insanity. Yeah. And the whole point is to realize that normal does not mean good or right. It doesn't. It's just a way for people to get what they want from you. And when you normalize insanity, it's over. When common sense is gone, it's over. When practicality is not there, it's over. From the article, unprecedented curbs on civil liberties introduced under the Coronavirus Act must be repealed as soon as the original justification for the measure is met. A free market think tank has urged, warning of the danger of goalposts being moved. Well, that was the whole point, wasn't it? In a report entitled Liberty After the Lockdown, the Institute of Economic Affairs says that none of the emergency legislation and enabling regulations should be retained. A 356-page Coronavirus Act passed through the House of Commons without a vote in 4 days. They had it just there on the shelf, ready to go. How lucky was that? How lucky was that? Didn't see that one coming, did you? Right. You know what's crazy? You vote in an election for the people that are pre-selected, and when they get into power they don't even make the decisions. They defer to the institutions and organizations of government and the statisticians and the experts. Um, and the experts. They always roll out the experts. Report author Christopher Snowdon warns that prolonged exposure to draconian regulations will normalize illiberalism and isolate benefits from the current restrictions. Lower crime rates will be used to promote illiberal policies in the future. Who counts the crimes anyway, right? I mean, isn't the large transfer of wealth that's happened that nobody wants to talk about just a giant crime? The big companies get bailed out, but they still get to remain open, right? Small fish get eaten by big fish. Snowdon notes that the sole justification given by the Prime Minister for the lockdown announcement on the 23rd of March was to prevent NHS services being overwhelmed by COVID patients. However, there is a danger of these goalposts being moved. They've been moved already. Hospitals are shut. People are not being screened. People are dying because their cancers are not being picked up. People are dying because they're not going for operations. Old people are scared to death. You fucking psychos. You should all be locked up. You should all be locked up or locked away. Creators.com gets it right. Dennis Prager gets it right. His article is "The Worldwide Lockdown May Be the Greatest Mistake in History." Oh yeah. Oh yeah. From the article, the idea that the worldwide lockdown of virtually every country other than Sweden, actually there's, in what I'm aware, there's only 25% of countries, which is about 50 of the countries worldwide, that have actually enacted complete lockdown rules. But it does go to show you the power of the administration, of the organization, of the bureaus and the paper pushers. The idea that the worldwide lockdown of virtually every country other than Sweden may have been an enormous mistake strikes many, including world leaders, most scientists, especially health officials, doctors and epidemiologists, those who work in major news media, opinion writers in those media, and hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people who put their faith in these people as so preposterous as to be immoral. That's a really, really ridiculously long opening sentence. What's the paraphrase? The idea that the idea that the worldwide lockdown of virtually every country other than Sweden may have been an enormous mistake strikes many as so preposterous as to be immoral. It does. But it's interesting, if you go online, you'll find people arguing for that they want more rules, more laws, more protection, more police, more authority, more fines, more punishments. Timothy Egan of the New York Times described Republicans who wish to enable their states to open up as the party of death. Yeah, is it worth pointing out that if you stay at home and the economies collapse, you're not going to have anything? If you go out to work, the economies collapse and you're not going to have anything. It's better to do something than nothing. There's a high probability if you go out and work, you're able to do something, change something. That's the way it is today on planet Earth, where deceit, cowardice and immaturity now dominate almost all societies because the elites are deceitful, cowardly and immature. right? You know, it's look at the difference between those who are able to build their own wealth and those that just get it handed to them. Have you ever noticed the difference in approach that these people have? Have you ever noticed? I have. For those open to reading thoughts they may differ with, here is the case for why the worldwide lockdown is not only a mistake, but also possibly the worst mistake the world has ever made. And for those intellectually challenged by the English language and or logic, mistake and evil are not synonyms. The lockdown is a mistake. The Holocaust, slavery, communism, fascism were evils. Massive mistakes are made by arrogant fools. Massive evils are committed by evil people. But then if this is part of an agenda, if this is part of a plan, if everything is in lockstep, if there is a 2030 UN agenda, if there is promotion of smart cities, if there is a 5G grid going into place, if there are vaccine damage funds, if there is money changing hands behind the scenes, if there is a large transfer of wealth, if doctors and hospitals are paid bonuses for writing 5 letters and 2 numbers on a death certificate. Think about that. The forcible prevention of Americans from doing anything except what politicians deem essential has led to the worst economy in American history since the Great Depression of the 1930s. It is panic and hysteria, not the coronavirus, that created this catastrophe. Yeah, it's the media. It's the media. All in lockstep. All printing the same scare stories. Bodies loaded into trucks. Armies on the street. Martial law. Oh yeah. What have you seen? Have you seen anything? Have you just stared into the window of the television, the two-way mirror of your laptop? Stephen Donovan writes, these psychopaths that are out there, they want you to walk on their path. They would have you believe that you're utterly defenseless to live on the planet without their medical assistance. What frigging God complex deluded psychopaths. And shame to the myrmidons who don't question the narrative. I had to go and look up the word myrmidon. Yeah. Lost histories, people. Lost histories. We don't understand the past anymore. And if you don't understand the past, those that don't understand the past are doomed to repeat the same mistakes, right? Look at your own life. You think society doesn't mirror that? Huh? Good website, lockdownskeptics.org. Article, stay sane, protect the economy, save lives. Of course, so much of what we see in the mainstream media is made up, right? It's just invented. So much of reality is a woven together fabrication. Nonetheless, there are strange features of the Imperial College model, the model on which everything was locked down, of course. It's the Imperial College. And it's a model. It's not even real. It's not even real, it's just numbers and rhythms typed into a computer. You press enter and oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. It's no different from a computer game. Um, anyway, the lockdown skeptics points out that when people analyze the data, there's only one kind of response, basically that no one would have coded this kind of model to produce any kind of rational result. I'm not going to go into it too much, but the article talks about the types of language and the types of computer coding languages that were used to build the models, and you could use models which don't produce random results, and you need to well, if you want more information, you need to seek out the article by Sue Denim. Okay, it's obviously not a real name. Okay, SUE space DENIM. Right, because people are scared to be themselves. I mean, this is what we've created. We've created a society where people of knowledge have to hide. My God, when the knowledgeable people are scared. Well, how are the average public going to react? Yeah? Interesting. Anyway, when you break down the numbers from the model, what the review highlights is the complete failure of bureaucrats and politicians to go through a reasonable system to test the results of such models. You should test it before you act on it, right? I mean, imagine, I don't know, designing a new kind of football and never testing it before using the ball in like the World Cup final or something. It would be kind of insane. Yet, this is how the desk sitters make their decisions. There are many other epidemiological models around, and the big failure seems to have been to rely heavily on one set of results without even trying. Yeah, I mean, don't you want to compare different sets of results? Huh? Don't you want to? Right? Don't you want to develop a consensus about broad conclusions rather than just look at one report from one man in one office? Yep. That's what happens. It also shows you the power of one. It shows you that one person can make a difference, both good and bad. Anyway, lockdownskeptics.org has a code review of Ferguson's model, and you know they break it down and show you how it's all false, it's all fake, it's all made up. It's all made up. Now, there are people out there doing the right thing. There are people doing a good job. There are people helping. And one of those people right now is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has pointed out regarding the reality of our time that, quote, every part of our lives will be subject to control. That's if this continues. If this lockdown continues, if this situation continues, this situation is a situation. This virus is about training us for submission, training us to do what we're told, to not go to the beach unless we're told, to not kiss our girlfriend without their permission. They're turning us into production units and consuming entities. They are going to rob us not only of our democracy, but also our liberties and our souls. They are going to inject us with the medicines they want, and they're going to charge us for the diseases they give us. They're going to control every part of our lives. What are we doing in children's health defense? What we're doing is using the latest instruments of democracy that we have left. We're using the last instruments of democracy. He says this is the last battle. We are fighting for the salvation of humanity. We all knew this was coming, though I never believed it would come in my lifetime. We all have our struggles. Each generation has its battle that it must fight. If you haven't fought your battle yet, it's coming, and if you haven't realized that there will be a battle, you've already lost. You've already lost. You want some random stuff? You want some random stuff? Amongst the people who had a flu shot in 2008, there was a 250% increase in influenza infections. Did you know that? A study published in Human and Environmental Toxicology. Did you know that there was a magazine called Human and Environmental Toxicology found that mercury-laced flu vaccines caused a 4,250% increase in fetal deaths? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that people who get the flu shots will be the first to die in an actual global pandemic because they have been made vulnerable? Did you know that? Think about it. Think about it. Think about what you're hearing. Have you ever noticed that they don't ever want to silence the people who get things wrong? Have you noticed? Yeah. Have you noticed that? And when people get things right, they get attacked. You only get shot at when you're over the target, right? Right? Roll up! Roll up. The UK launches its tracing application for total control. Yep. To all HM government letter. You can see it. You can see the letter if you're watching the video. To all residents of the Isle of Wight, thank you for your efforts. Blah-de, 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 blah. The government is launching a new coronavirus mobile phone app on the Isle of Wight. Blah-de, blah-de, blah. An integrated test and trace program. Blah-de, blah-de, blah. National effort to beat coronavirus. Blah-de, 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 blah. If you have a smartphone, please install. Blah, blah-de, 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 blah. How does the app work? Blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. The information is recorded anonymously on your phone. Oh. Lie, 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 lie. Yep. If you use this app to report that you have the coronavirus symptoms, we will use the information on your phone to send an anonymous message to other people. The message will offer them advice on what they should do. Oh my God. We're in trouble if this continues. We're in serious trouble. Just how much trouble? I'm not even sure that you are aware of how much trouble. BylineTimes.com reports the coronavirus crisis. I don't. How do I explain this? They've highlighted two words: untimely and insensitive, because there's bonuses being paid to NHS staff right now in Britain. Not to mention there's, well, like you get $40,000 in an American hospital for a COVID diagnosis, and this is, you know. Hospitals are businesses, they stop the income of hospitals, they prevent patients going there, the hospitals are on the edge of bankruptcy, and then they offer the hospitals large cash bonuses if they re-diagnose the patients. That's it. That's the scam. That's it all. 10 seconds. Boom. Sorry. Sorry it took me 25 hours of presentation to codify it, but that's it. There's a payoff, right? This is how it works in Britain. Byline Times has learnt that all consultants in England will receive a share of £150 million annual fund, usually set aside to reward senior medics who go above and beyond the call of duty in their work, regardless of what role they have served during the pandemic. Regardless of what role they have served. And do anything, but here you are. It's a cash handout. NHS employers, the British Medical Association, BMA, and the Hospital Consultants and Specialists Association, HCSA, this month agreed to distribute an even share of cash from Clinical Excellence Awards, CEA's fund, to all consultants who are already amongst the highest paid staff within the NHS. It's a payoff, guys. It's a payoff. It's criminal. Except it's not. A share of CEA, it's evil is what it is. A share of CEA money is usually paid as an annual bonus only to consultants or academic GPs who perform over and above the standard expectation of their role. The standard expected of their role. Consultants judged to merit a basic CAE receive just under £3,000 as a bonus, but payments for the most outstanding work, known as Platinum Awards, can be as high as £76,000. £76,000 to a senior official, regardless of their role. A BMA circular post published this month revealed, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, local clinical excellence awards will not be run this year, and the award money will instead be distributed equally among eligible consultants. They just take the money and give it to themselves. The funding, and there's no possibility of corruption here. I mean, it's not going to be like, oh, here's an extra 76,000 in your bank account. Just put another. Just give me 2 in my back pocket, right? No possibility of corruption there. And this is the medical service, right? These are people in charge of your health. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, local clinical excellence awards will not be run this year, and the award money will instead be distributed equally among eligible consultants. The existing funding includes any money rolled over from the last 2 years. It just gets bigger, including money from awards rounds that may not yet have been run or completed. Unlimited funds. Unlimited funds. There you go. That's just, why don't they just throw cash from hospital rows and let the doctors and nurses run around and scavenge it? Monstrous. These people are monsters. Anyway, people. Right? What are you going to do, eh? What you going to do about it? Huh? What you going to do? Stop fucking asking me what I'm going to do. I'm already doing something. Stop fucking asking me what I believe to be true, because I might just tell you what I know to be true. Well, what do you believe? It's not about belief. It's about knowledge. It's about facts. Differentiate. People. Differentiate. That's it. That's the message. Dude, it done. This is my thought crime. Let me know what you think. Send me articles. Let me know if you have a different opinion. You can reach me. I'm G. I represent the Academy. You can reach me at Graham William Hendry on Facebook. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on all major communications, social media, podcast, internet platforms. All the information is out there. You just have to look for it. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I wish you a fantastic day. Look after yourself. Look after the people around you. And as usual, don't forget to tell the ones that you love them. Speak to you soon.